Well, with me now is France24's Angela Diffley, who's been looking a little into this prisoner exchange for us today. Angela, do we know, first of all, how this came about?
Well, let's have a look at it is true that this was a three-way thing, and that's quite interesting. It's quite important because this Russian basketballer was arrested in France at the request of the United States, Daniil Kasatkin. So that means that in order for him to be returned to Russia, the United States was okay with that. That is not automatic. This is a complicated three-way triangular arrangement. And, you know, looking at current relations between Donald Trump and European allies, they're not always that mindful of what suits their European allies. But in this case, it was important that the United States was okay with the release of this Russian that they wanted. It was important that they were okay with France releasing them in order for France to be able to get back Laurent Vinatier. So it's a very complicated three-way arrangement. You know, Russia has a reputation, of course, for doing this, for arresting foreign nationals on flimsy pretexts, saying they are spies, and then effectively using them as bargaining chips. It is interesting to note that back when Biden was in power, there was a substantial exchange of Russian for Western prisoners, and the Russians kept raising the number of people they wanted. And Joe Biden was left asking other Western allies, do you have any Russian prisoners you would be prepared to release in order that we can get our people out? And because cooperation was so much better then, yes, that did happen. But it wasn't an automatic situation under Donald Trump. But this shows that the three-way negotiations have worked. And we now see Laurent Vinatier back in France, smiling. He appears to be in good health. And Daniil Kasatkin is in Moscow now.
What's your sense as to why we're seeing this prisoner exchange now?
Yeah, there's a lot of speculation. You know, we don't really know. There was some speculation that he might be released before the end of the Eastern European Orthodox Christian Christmas festivities. There was a lot of speculation that he might be released yesterday, in December, on Christmas Day. In fact, the Russians or the Kremlin spokesperson said that they had made a proposition to France and they were awaiting results. Emmanuel Macron, of course, has constantly said that Laurent Vinatier is not a spy. He is an academic. He is a researcher. He worked for a Swiss conflict resolution body. And Macron has pointed out that the Russians have a habit of discrediting and spreading disinformation about people whom they decide are spies. It should be said that he pleaded guilty to the charges that were first laid against him, but said he simply didn't know that the new rules on foreign agents registering their presence had changed. But after that, he was charged with much more serious allegations of spying and could have faced a very hefty sentence. So it is an enormous relief for his family. We don't really know why now. It is true that it hasn't been a great week for Russia since the beginning of the new year. You know, what's happened in Venezuela, a very key, very important ally of Russia, that has not been good news for Putin. Things are not going well in Iran, another ally of Russia. And even in Syria, we are seeing some considerable unrest. It hasn't been a good start to the year for Vladimir Putin. Perhaps he is keen to have some good news to show his citizens. That might well be beyond it, the reason why.
All right, Angela Diffley, thank you very much.